So have you been considering the DJI Goggles 3, but maybe the price point is just too much for you, or maybe you don't feel like you need all of the functionality of the Goggles 3? That's where the DJI Goggles N3 might come into play here, and let's get into it and see which one is right for you. What's going on, guys? My name is Dan Davis and I'm the creative director here on DansTube.TV, which is Australia's #1 drone YouTube channel. And today I've got my full review of the DJI Goggles N3. You can see immediately that the N3 goggles are larger. The Goggles 3 are quite small really in comparison when we look at the length on top. The Goggles N3 definitely do have a longer design to them, but that does come in as a benefit, which I'll get into very soon. Everything else is quite similar here in terms of the battery pack on the back, in terms of the design with the antennas flipping up. You've got the 5D button here, as well as a back button and a power button. So quite similar, and it's also USB-C, and there's a micro SD card slot there to record what's happening on the goggles. The Goggles N3 work with both the Avata 2 as well as the DJI Neo. Now, the new power looping feature that only just came out for the Avata 2, you can use that with these goggles. So these goggles do actually have the easy Acro mode, and you can use it on the Avata 2 and the Neo. They also have defogging, so there's little fans in there that will defog the lenses for you, or the glass for you, which is very, very handy. And there's also head tracking with these goggles as well. So as I get into it a little bit deeper, you'll see that these goggles are feature packed. They really haven't skimped out on many features here, which is really exciting. Looking at the Goggles 3 here, there are a few things that make these stand out, but I just wanted to talk about the differences here, the main differences when it comes to the experience with each headset. So firstly, on the Goggles 3, there are two individual OLED displays behind these lenses here. So each side there is an individual display that you're looking into, and there's also adjustable diopters here. So that means that you can adjust based on your eyesight, as well as the width of your eyes here, or the width on your face, and also the diopters for the focus point. So that's something that's really cool about the Goggles 3. So the Goggles N3 have a singular LCD panel behind the glass here. So it's literally a 1080p display behind here. There's no option to adjust the diopters, and you literally just have to deal with it the way it is. So that's one of the things that you really need to figure out depending on your needs. The huge calling card though of the N3 is because of the design, because they're a little bit longer, you can actually wear prescription glasses in here. So if you've got prescription glasses, you can leave them on and still wear the headset just because of the design of them. So that's a huge bonus here, where on the Goggles 3 you just kind of have to deal with what's available to you. You can get custom fit outs here, custom prescription lenses in there, or glass in there, but with these guys here you really just have to deal with it. So as you'll start to see, like I'll talk about it as I start to fly, but that is something that might not be ideal for you if you don't wear prescription glasses. So for me, I don't wear prescription glasses, and I find that it's hard to get that focus point. I really have to adjust the headset and the distance between my eyes and the glass here to get that focus point. So it's a little bit of adjusting, where I find that with the Goggles 3 I can get them perfect, and then I don't have to worry about changing it anymore. So I think if you wear glasses, prescription glasses especially, then the Goggles N3 are actually a really, really awesome opportunity to be able to fly while still having that perfect sight that you're looking for with your prescriptions. The Goggles N3 offer OcuSync 4, which is really exciting. It just means that this is going to be a future-proofed headset. It's not like it's using old technology. So this means that it will most likely be available, or you can use it with other devices that come out from DJI in the future. So that's great that they've included OcuSync 4 in here. The battery life is 2.7 hours, which is very impressive. So they're saying you're getting 13 batteries with the DJI Neo. So these two paired together, 13 batteries for the 2.7 hours with the headset. Going back to the LCD display behind the glass here, it is a 60 Hertz display, and the peak brightness is 1350 nits, so a great brightness in there, and it's a different material. So on the Goggles 3 it's more of a plastic that protects your face and kind of blacks it out for you, where this is more of a material feel. So different preferences. You might prefer the material feel over the plastic feel. I actually think that these are very comfortable. You've just got to get used to the fact that they are a little bit more front heavy because of the design. So you just kind of have to get that adjustment point with the battery to get the right comfort for you. Like I said before, these do offer easy acro, so you get all of the easy acro modes. You do get head tracking, and you also get the defogging feature, which is really awesome, especially with something like this. It does get hot in there and it will start to fog up. So defogging, the easy acro, as well as head tracking, all with the Goggles N3. Obviously a cheaper price point, significantly cheaper than the Goggles 3. And if you have a Neo or an Avata 2 or both, this could be a really cool combo. Are you interested in picking up maybe the DJI Neo, maybe the Avata 2, maybe the Goggles N3 or the Goggles 3 or some other variation of DJI product? Then definitely make sure to check out those links down in the description. I've actually helped Australians save over $70,000 on their drone, camera, and accessory purchases through the D1 store. So if you do want to save and you're based in Australia, make sure to check out those links down below. You can reach out to the D1 store directly. That's sales@d1store.com.au. Just mention DansTube and they'll be able to help you out. You can also go to their website and use the code DansTube and you'll be able to save on most drones, cameras, and accessories over there. And if you are an international viewer, then I will have some other links down there as well to help you out, so make sure to check all of them out. The other big calling card of the N3 goggles is the 13-kilometer range that they offer. So really, really cool stuff. Let's jump into it and see how they perform. The combo I'm trying out today is the DJI Neo with the RC Motion 3 as well as the Goggles N3. So this is a great combo in terms of its price point. This is great for beginners because you do get like a true FPV experience as a beginner, and then you can progress and get yourself the legit controller to be able to fly like manual FPV. You can still use the same headset here and you can kind of progress up the ranks. So this is actually a really cool combo, and I know that a lot of people are interested in these three together. The flight experience here is very similar to the Goggles 3. There's no major difference. I don't notice it like dropping out, or I don't notice that the clarity is like any worse or anything like that. It still is a consistently reliable experience on the N3 goggles. Now you can still utilize all of these easy acro modes. So this is the 180-degree drift, which works flawlessly. You can utilize the slide, you can go down and do the flip, for example, and that works perfectly fine here. I can do all sorts of flips in all sorts of directions. The heads-up display, from my understanding, is the exact same as the Goggles 3. This really is just a cheaper, more accessible version of using goggles, really. So let's just go with the 180 drift. So if we go above this line and come down here, and this experience with the Motion 3 is so much fun, honestly. One of the best flight experiences I've had. It's just so easy to use. So you can see all of that works. The power looping mode works as well. If you were to fly with the Avata 2, that works flawlessly on here. So with the 5D button over here, I can still navigate the menu like you would with the other goggles. It's the same interface here, and I do have that goggles defog, so I can press that, and the cooling fan will take away that fogging, which is extremely handy. You've got easy acro, and you can also enable the head tracking as well. So it works nicely, really easy to go into. Like that's me in the head tracking mode. Oh, so I've got to, let me just fly this a little bit. So you can see I can look left and right. Head tracking works perfectly fine on the goggles. No issues at all with that. You have to disable the easy acro to enable head tracking, but I can now just disable that and go into easy acro, which you can't while you're recording, but simple to just go between the modes. As you can see, it all works very, very similarly to the Goggles 3. It's now back into easy acro. So again, this is the 180-degree drift. Quite a unique perspective, really. It's a nice revealing shot when you do that. There's a little bit of a kind of delay as such, like it kind of drags on a little bit, so you just got to be careful of your environment when you do that. But let's say, for example, we go around here and we can go underneath the pole, for example. So if I'm to come on an angle and then press left, it will drift Oh, it seemed to stop a little earlier then. So let's pick up some pace and try it again. The goggles experience is great. I can definitely recommend this after flying the Goggles 3. It doesn't feel like you're missing out on anything. It doesn't feel like it's a lesser of an experience or anything like that. The only thing is, like I mentioned, just getting that focus point, like because it's a little bit longer, you actually just kind of have to get that focus point right. Otherwise it can be hard to get the focus if you're not wearing prescription glasses. But you can see with the RC Motion 3, I can comfortably fly around these poles with no issues at all. Very simple. I can do the drifting. You know, it's a lot of fun to use these easy acro modes. The fact that we get huge range and amazing battery life from this unit as well is great to see, really. It is interesting, these goggles are quite similar in terms of the functionality to the Goggles 3. Like I've said a few times, they're a little bit longer. You've just got to get that focus point right to make sure that these are comfortable to use. But besides that, you've got quite a similar experience. It's not like you're missing out on any features. It's not like you can't use easy acro, or it's not like you don't have head tracking. All of that's inbuilt into here. You can obviously record the screen with the micro SD if you are into any sort of tutorial stuff or you just want to record it for whatever reason. The battery pack's great, nice and comfortable, doesn't get hot, ridiculously hot in the sun. I can hear the fan kicking in, and the fact that you have the defog in there, because you can see they do get a little bit fogged up, especially on a hot day. I'm literally sitting in the middle of the sun, so it does get fogged up pretty quickly. So to be able to just defog nice and simply is perfectly fine. I'm pretty happy with them, honestly. I am pretty happy with them. The one thing is just asking yourself, do you think you're going to have issues with that focus? For me, I would prefer to go with the Goggles 3 purely because I can adjust that focus point. But if you do wear glasses, then these are probably the ones to go for, because you can keep your prescriptions on and still wear the headset, and it's not like you're missing out on any features here. So these are my thoughts on the Goggles N3. A great kit, well worth looking into, and a great combo with the RC Motion 3 and the Neo. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to have a fantastic day. I'll chat to you in the next one, and peace.